Hello, YouTube and world. Qapla, let me shut that off. Qapla, it's Birdo Prey 5, and welcome to Star Trek Saturday. Today we're going to watch Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, and there we go. There we go. I have the video paused, and I'll have to repeat this because hopefully there'll be some more people showing up. But I have the video paused 4 seconds in. So when we do hit play, if you're going to watch along with me, be sure to be about 4 seconds in, right at the start of the Paramount Mountain logo. Azine is first. Welcome, Azine. Says good evening or evening. Welcome, Azine. Azine has been busy in Space Engineers with us. It is the first day. The setup day. There is no combat allowed until tomorrow morning. But I'm happy to announce Karoga is off to a glorious start. Richie Poole is second and says, yay, welcome Richie Poole. I like Star Trek 3, just so you know, Bert. I'm not surprised, Richie Poole. Listen, there is none of the first Star Trek 6 movies that I dislike. Okay, one is trying. And 3, listen, it would be the second from the bottom for me. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, in my opinion, not as good as 2, 4, 6, or 5. Again, in my opinion. I know a lot of people would put 5 below 3, but in my opinion, and I know I'm weird that way, I actually think Star Trek 5 is a pretty decent movie. I actually think it's a pretty good Star Trek movie. I just wish they had continued with Star Trek 5 canon instead of resetting it in Star Trek 6 and then doing everything they could to ignore the fact Star Trek 5 ever happened, which is something I think I need to make a video on one day. But it's not going to be. It's not going to be anytime soon. Richie Poole says, no way. No way that I put Star Trek 5 above Star Trek 3? I'm sorry. I do. Not far above, grant you, but... listen, like I said, I've never skipped watching Star Trek 3 if it was on television or anything like that. It's just... I don't know. I think the fact they changed Savick makes a difference. Had we still had Kirsten Alley, then Christy Alley, whatever her name is, I think we might still be a little better for me. The actress change on the same character. It's like why keep the character? You didn't need to keep the character. Could have changed her out with anyone. Have a different actress, a different character. John DeMarco says, hi everyone, welcome John DeMarco. And Richie Poole says, ignoring Star Trek 5 was a gift to fandom. You know. When we get to Star Trek 5, which might be in just 2 weeks, we can have such discussions. So, I don't know if everybody is still playing Space Engineers or if I just started especially early on a Saturday, or if notifications went out. Hopefully they did. Maybe it's just a quiet day. Not every day is going to be a busy day, which is fine. I spent the better part of my morning listening to streams that I fell asleep and couldn't listen to late Friday night. Yeah. So, Mr. Miles is claiming first. I'm sorry, Mr. Miles. Anti-Trekker gives you first because you edit his videos, but you don't edit my videos. So I have to be honest. Okay. Richie Poole says maybe no one likes your Star Trek movie reviews. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. I had 30 likes. I had 30 likes on the last one on Star Trek 2. I think nobody likes Star Trek 3, Richie Poole. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they don't like Star Trek 3. Mr. Miles says, I'm always first, Bird of Prey. There was a Mr. Miles. Was there a Mr. Miles here before me? Oh, so you're claiming you're the first Mr. Miles. Richie Poole says, could be. It could be. Well, you know what? I think people will just file in as we start. Maybe some people will watch it later. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start in just a couple of minutes, regardless of how many people are or are not here. Mr. Miles says, I never said I was first. I just say first. And Mr. Miles says, don't put me into a box. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Miles. I put people in boxes. That's what I do. John DeMarco says, a Bird Star Trek movie review is a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon. Well, thank you, John DeMarco. Much Sister O'Prey begs to differ. Okay, well, have fun seeing Grandma. Hope she's okay. Good. Okay. Richie Poole says nobody puts Mr. Miles in the corner. Oh, not in a corner, but in a box. Mr. Miles' Bird of Prey, I'm going to say it again so you'll read it right. I never said what I'm first at. I just say first. You're going to try to argue a technicality, Mr. Miles? Really? Really? Richie Poole says hi to Sister O'Prey 5. Hi. She says hi back, Richie. You got a hello back. Joseph Patrick with a €2 super chat. I am here. We can start. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Thank you. We actually will be starting very, very shortly. So once again, I have it paused 4 seconds in, right at the beginning of the Paramount logo. So if you want to queue up your own copies of Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock, which was released in 1984 when I was a wee 6-year-old. Possibly 5, I think 6. I think it's released towards the end of the year. But if it was released before November, I was 5 years old. And Sis O'Prey was 1 or 2 years old. Not 1 or 2. 4. No. Right, Sis O'Prey was 3 or 4 years old. So, way back. Way back. Now, I did not see Star Trek 3 in theaters. I believe it was Star Trek 5 or 6 was the first one I remember seeing in theaters. Maybe that's why I like Star Trek 5 so much. I might have seen it in theaters. Anyway, so we're about to start. And again, what you guys are going to see on the screen are screenshots every 5 seconds or so. Every 5 seconds or so, there'll be another screenshot on the screen, and hopefully you have your own copy of the movie so you can watch it live. And with that, I'm going to... Oh, that's not good. Okay. Richie Poole says it has to be Bird because Star Trek 5 sucks. Oh, come on. Let's be positive. We'll wait till we get to Star Trek 5. Mercer Creates says Bird of Prey. There are Jawas in this movie. Yes, it certainly would seem that way. Although, who knows? Okay. So I'm going to hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, and I need to shut off the audio. So Mr. Miles is going to be on his way. I've got things to do and places to avoid. I'll be back later. And first again, take care, Mr. Miles. Godspeed. Mercer creates his bird of prey. I liked episode 2 of The Mandalorian. Very cool. So they're giving us a refresher of what happened at the end of Star Trek II, in case we forgot. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. Spock just says, I have been and always will be your friend. They should have shown us the part where Spock touches McCoy and says, remember. But Resolute Germ says originally released June 1, 84. So I wasn't even born yet. Okay, well then that was before my birthday. Mercer says much better than in episode 1. Well, that's cool, Mandalorian. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's not particularly for me, but I'm happy that you're happy. I haven't seen any of the episodes. And here, Kirk insults Spock by calling his soul the most human. Yosef says, I'm trying to connect to my server. We'll catch up. Okay, Yosef. Mercer says they will show that later. That's true. Richie Poole says they must show the McCoy scene later. Mercer says the Enterprise should have rammed the Klingon ship at warp speed. It doesn't work like that. And now we have Spock doing the continuing voyages. Starship Enterprise. Trek 95 asked Mr. Miles if he was first. Well, he called first. Mercer says warp speed ramming. Richie Bull says, why is Kirk insulting Spock at his funeral? You know, I would say Kirk wouldn't have thought of it as an insult, but I think as an impartial audience member, it kinda is. Cinnabon Bunny says, hello, welcome Cinnabon. Mercer says, do they run game shows on the lower decks of the Enterprise? It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised. Resolute says, why, Jim? He was your friend. Why insult the dead? Mercer says, like, press your luck. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. John DeMarco says, Mr. Miles identifies as first. Mercer's or Wheel of Misfortune. They play Wheel of Fish. You win some salmon, and then you can choose if you want to take the fish or the box. And then they bring down the box. They lift up the box, and it's empty. And then they tell you you're an idiot. You're an idiot for choosing the box. Continuum Track. Welcome, Continuum Track. His was the most human. Continuum Track did a live stream. Was it a live stream? Yes, I think it was. He did a video on did Discovery destroy Star Trek? And he actually puts the answer right up at the front of the video. But it's a good video nonetheless, and I agree with him. Discovery could not destroy Star Trek. One series that's only run for a couple of years so far, even if it runs 3 or 4 years, cannot destroy 50 years of legacy. However, in my opinion, it can certainly hurt it enough that it takes away. It really hurts any reception that people would have to it, any goodwill, I think has been erased for a time being. Yes, there'll be a time in the not too distant future when hopefully somebody who's just better at it all can take over again. But that's the type of stuff he discusses. So we get our first shot of the Enterprise, all damaged. Kirk says with most of the battle damage repaired, they're headed home. Says Savick and David are exploring the Genesis planet. The trainee crew has been reassigned. Vessel feels empty. The death of Spock is an open wound. Mercer's got to go. Take care, Mercer. Trek 95 says, Bird of Prey, hail. Bird of Prey 5, hail. Trek 95, welcome. Yosef wants a timestamp. I am exactly 6 minutes and 49 seconds at the beep. Beep. We're 5 seconds away from 7 minutes now. 7 minutes. He just said we fixed the barn door after the horses leave. Scotty just said 8 weeks, but you don't have 8 weeks, so I'll do it in 2. Scotty just admitted that he multiplied his times by 4 so he could keep his reputation as a miracle worker. So random person asked, are they planning a reception for them when they get back? And he's like, a hero's welcome. Is that what you're asking about? And Kirk says, why should they? Continuum Track says it's not the best one to start with. Lol. Trek 95 says, Mr. Miles, what are you first at? Mr. Miles said he had to do things. He might not be here. Oh, we got a ship in space here. A little ship. This would be like a ship that Thomas Potts would, give us on a ship quiz. So she's speaking Klingon. And Christopher Lloyd is saying, well done. And there's a ship. We're about to be, wow, a Klingon bird of prey seen for the very first time. Captain's got his pet Targ on board. I wonder if she's supposed to be Klingon. She has no ridges. I always assumed she was Klingon, but looking at her now, I'm not really seeing any ridges at all. Maybe they figured only the male Klingons would have ridges at this point in the timeline. It's not a Romulan ship, goddammit! Resolute says that crooked Scotsman. So That bird of prey. Just look how big that bird of prey is compared to that ship. Bird of prey is going into attack formation. But they don't know it yet. Qapla chawi. Bach. Oh. They're blowing up the ship. She sacrificed himself. She sacrificed herself. It is what's Dr. Emmett Brown ended up. He went way into the future. And that's the school teacher. He's saying, feed him. Resolute says, that crooked Scotsman. And Shronmore says, and greetings to Sassy. Chaser of cats. Eater of cookies. Stalker of cardinals. Defiler of cushions. And scourge of the squirrels. Thank you, Shronmore. Oh, look at that. Look at that star base. Beautiful. I think this is this the first time we saw our star base? Space dock. Space dock. That was so I'll be honest. To this day, that looks more impressive than what they gave us in Star Trek Beyond. Now, I granted Star Trek Beyond took, I'm sure it was a hell of a lot of rendering and 3D graphics and all that stuff. But this on the big screen, my God, it is so much more impressive, in my opinion. Now, when people talk about space dock, how it's part of Earth's defense, I think it's bullcrap. I honestly don't think... I mean, I'm sure space dock has the ability to defend itself, I hope, but I don't think it's really part of planetary defense, because if you were a smart enemy and you knew that space dock was a powerful way of defending the planet, you would just approach the planet from the opposite side. And you would never have to worry about space dock. They would never have a phaser lock, and they probably can't fire photon torpedoes around the Earth. Look at that. Look at that ship coming in. Oh man, that is impressive. Look at these people have to stand. They're standing with respect. Respect for the Enterprise. Sulu is saying, it's impossible. There's energy readings from inside Mr. Spock's quarters. Kirk says he ordered it sealed. And Chekhov says, I sealed it myself, but he's reading a life form there. And now Uhura is saying the door to Spock's quarters has been forced open. So Kirk's going to go down to investigate. Miss Londell says we saw birds of prey through TOS. They just didn't cloak. Miss Londell, we did not see Klingon birds of prey in the original series. Track 95C has ridges minimal. I don't know if those are... I wouldn't call those ridges. Joseph says, Track 95, I'm making myself dinner, enjoying the movie, haven't seen it in years. Well, very cool. Richie Poole says, damn Klingons copying Romulan technology. Shramor says, bird of prey, she may have been one of the Klingons from the original series that didn't have the brow ridges. So now, McCoy is talking, but in Spock's voice, saying, "Help me, you left me on Genesis. Why did you do that?" He was in the shadow. And Kirk pulls out the figure in the shadow, and it turns out to be Bones. He's asking Bones if he lost his mind. Bones saying, "Help me. Help me, take me home." He's saying, "Bones, we're home. We're on Earth." Now, he says, "Perhaps it's not too late. Climb the steps of Mount Salea." And Kirk's like, "Mount Salea? That's on Vulcan. We're home on Earth." And now he says, "Remember." So, Uhura says docking's complete. They're coming in for an inspection. And now Kirk calls for medics because McCoy's having issues. So, everybody's getting an accommodation, and extended shore leave. Everybody but Mr. Scott. They need his wisdom on the Excelsior. He's to report there as captain of engineering, whatever the hell that means. And Scotty's saying, I prefer to oversee the refit of Enterprise." And he's like, "Sorry, there's not going to be a refit of the Enterprise." So Kirk is like, "I don't understand. It's only 30 years old, or 20 years old." And he's like, "It's old. Nobody uses ships this old anymore. You're never going to see ships like this, or the Miranda class, in the next generation. Yeah, so don't even think about it. These ships are old." Also, by the way, we've classified Genesis, a quarantine planet and a forbidden subject, like the Discovery. He's like, "What do you mean about the Discovery?" He's like, "Oh, I've said too much." So apparently the Klingons got their hands somehow on the Genesis, the Genesis, I guess, logs. Cinnabon says that's a weird looking DeLorean. Where's the Mr. Fusion? And Ungarima says the Starbase space dock was in Wrath of Khan. Okay. Was it? Ungarima says Star Trek Beyond made no sense. Richie Poole says Star Trek Beyond sucks, indeed. Sci-Fi Nation says Qapla, Bird of Prey. Qapla, Sci-Fi Nation. And Sci-Fi Nation, everybody, check out Sci-Fi Nation's channel. Sci-Fi Nation put out his first video. It's only a minute and 12 seconds long, if I recall. But he started. He made the first step. So check out his channel now. He has content, with more to come. Richie Poole says maybe there are 50 such space docks orbiting Earth. I doubt it, Richie Poole. I'm pretty sure that's the only space dock. So Christopher Lloyd is saying we're going to go to the Genesis planet. We're going to see the secret of ultimate power. And of course, we have an Oberth class vessel at the Genesis planet, which they have to tell us which it is, in case we forgot. Stardate 8210.3. Captain's log. I'm in the shittiest starship ever created. Sending priority 1 message. Grissom. The Grissom. Miss Lundell says, I stopped watching Star Trek when it stopped being track. Anything after Enterprise ain't track, so I discount it. Understood, Miss Lundell. I respect that. Thomas Preston says 16 watching with 7 likes and 0 dislikes. Thank you, Thomas Preston, for the update. Hector says for faux shame. Welcome, Hector. So they've got desert. They've got, I wonder, Sector 3 is subtropical. They've got all different types of weather and terrain. It's snowing in the same sector as a tropical. Oh, they've got a metallic mass. It's the photon tube. It must have soft landed because the gravitational field was in flux. Why would the gravitational field be in flux? I mean, that nothing they were doing was affecting the mass of the planet, but whatever. Whatever. At least they had tried to attempt why it still survived landing. Okay? At least they tried to explain it. So there's animal life forms. Unidentifiable life form reading. This guy who's been advising Starfleet of every little thing he's done, all of a sudden don't want to advise Starfleet. So David wants to beam it up, and he's like, nope. You can't beam it up unless it's safe. So David and Savick wants to beam down. They have to find out what it is, and Savick says, or who? And now we're at Kirk's house. Kirk's bachelor pad. So they're asking what's going to happen to the Enterprise. Kirk doesn't have answers. Vile Mike's in the house. Welcome, Vile. Miss Lundell says he thought there were 2 space docks orbiting Earth. And Richie Poole says, bless you, Sister O Pray 5. So you did hear it. Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Richie Poole. I was debating whether I should say anything. I figured nobody would understand what the hell I was saying it for. Dandelion Down 2 says she experienced puberty. Who experienced puberty? I must have missed. Oh, that's the reason Savick looks so different. She went through Vulcan puberty. Sarek is here. So Sarek is pissed about Genesis. And he's asking, why did you leave him on Genesis? You denied him his future. And now Sarek is saying only his body was the death. And you were the last one to be with him. Then you must know he should have come with him to Vulcan. He said, because he asked you to. He entrusted you. You know, Vulcans and humans have been working alongside each other for a pretty long time. Maybe it would be well known by now that if a Vulcan dies in the line of duty, you're supposed to bring their body back to Vulcan and not shoot it out into space. But, you know, maybe I'm just old-fashioned. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned thinking the Vulcans would have sent this type of stuff to Starfleet Command as a standing order. So Sarek wants to do a mind meld. I must have your thoughts, Kirk. I promise I won't look at the naughty parts. The new Saavik is Scott Bakula's wife? Really? I had no idea. The needs of... He asked you not to grieve. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Vile says, who wants to read a book where Spock married Saavik? I just posted 2 on eBay. I swear it will be the only plug I make. Maybe 20 or 30 more. Oh, Vile, you got to put in the link to the eBay store. Oh, right, because of proto matter. That's why. Dandelion Down says, if Sarek said to me, may I join your mind, I'd be scared shitless. Like, what? Now Saavik realizes he's made a mistake. Spock's not there. You know what happens when you make assumptions, Sarek. He couldn't touch him. The glass. The glass stops these super Vulcan minds from being penetrated. That's why, paranoid humans in the future, they cover themselves in glass so they wear glass helmets so Vulcans can't mind meld with them. You think they're crazy, but they're not. I mean, it's the only way to keep Vulcans from mind melding. See, if in Star Trek 6 that chick was wearing a glass helmet, then Spock wouldn't have been able to mind rape her. Static. They're playing back the scene. Kirk's like, what if he joined with someone else? Because Kirk knows that this might explain why why McCoy went nuts. Zoom in and enhance. No, he just said back. Oh. Back 0.76. 0.76 what? Minutes? Light seconds? That's distance, not time. Now it makes sense why Spock was speaking out loud. He was talking to the security cameras of the Enterprise. Because before, he didn't know who he was talking to. McCoy was out. So, Sarek has no idea that Spock's body is still alive. Why would they need Spock's body? Wouldn't you just bring McCoy to Mount Seleia and let them take his Qapla out and put it into one of those Qapla holding stones that presumably they put all the big dead Vulcans chiefs into? I mean, Sarek has no way to know that Spock's physically alive. What the hell would be the point of having Spock's dead body? What if his body was already burnt up by a sun? Obviously, lots of Vulcans have died. They can't possibly have all the bodies. And Vile Mike puts in the link to his eBay store. Very cool. Commodore Ty says, well, hello, welcome, Commodore Ty. Vile, I just said that. And Stromer says, Bird of Prey. Isn't it fortunate that the Enterprise had security cameras in all the right angles to shoot the movie? It is incredibly convenient, Schrodmore. Dandelion Down says, Spock mind melded without contact in A Taste of Armageddon, the Omega Glory, and by any other name. Just saying. Yeah, but this wasn't just a simple mind meld, Dandelion Down. This was a full Qapla transfer. So I can understand they needed, better contact. It needs, higher resolution. Where, you could do a mind meld over like Wi-Fi B, but in order to do a Qapla transfer, you need an Ethernet connection. Just saying. That's how Vulcans work. Now they hear a baby crying or something. Oh. So Kirk is asking for permission to go, and this guy is the command of Starfleet. He doesn't break rules. And he's like, this business about Spock and McCoy. He never understood Vulcan mysticism. Kirk says, you don't have to believe. He's not even sure he believes, but if there's a chance, he has an immortal soul, and it's his responsibility to get it. It's as surely as if it was my very own. Just give me back the Enterprise. Scotty's help. And he's like, no, the Enterprise can't stand up. Kirk's like, I'll find a ship. I'll hire a ship. He said, nope. Only the science team can go to Genesis. Your life and your career. Oh, man. Keep up the emotional behavior and you'll lose everything. And he says, do you understand me? And now Kirk says, I hear you. I had to try. He laughs it off. And the guy says, of course. Anytime. And if the other guy was so good, he would know right now that Kirk was planning Plan B. So Sulu and Chekhov are standing there. And they said that the word is no, but he's going anyway. So now we got Dr. McCoy going into the bar. The best scene. Look at that. Look at that video game. That was the video game of the future. And they got some tribbles. They brought back tribbles. Oh, and this waitress says it's a long time. So he wants Altair water. And she says, that's not your usual poison. And now he says, to expect one to order poison at a bar is illogical. Oh, this guy. Oh, the screen isn't up yet. Your planet, welcome. Oh, forgive. I hear him new. But you here known as McCoy from Enterprise. His name's not important. You seek I. Message received. Available ship stands by. So McCoy asks how much and how soon. Says how soon is now. How much depends where. And he says, the Mutara sector. Oh, Mutara restricted, take permits, many. Money more. Says there aren't going to be any damn permits. How can you get a damn permit to do something illegal? Price you name, money I got. Place you name, money I name, otherwise bargain no. Says, alright, damn it, it's Genesis. The name of the planet is Genesis. Genesis? How can you be deaf with ears like that? Genesis allowed is not, is planet forbidden. He's like, look, my backwoods friend, Genesis may be planet forbidden. And then somebody puts his arm on McCoy's neck. He's like, I'm sorry, sir, but your voice is carrying. I don't think you want to be discussing this subject. And he's asking if he can offer McCoy a ride home. And McCoy says, if I wanted a ride home, would I be trying to charter a space flight? And it turns out he's Federation security. McCoy stands up. McCoy tries to give him a nerve pinch. And they're saying McCoy's going to take a nice long rest. I love that scene. It was the best scene of the movie. I'm sorry. I had to do that. Actor says it's a Star Trek movie, Bird. You're not supposed to think to them too much. Joseph says 11 megabits per second. Yeah, that's good. That's good for a basic mind meld, but not for the Qapla. For the Qapla, you need a full 100 megabits per second wired connection. Wesley Crusher says, Bird of Prey. Greetings, birds, turds, and Klingons. Greetings, Wes. Josh reads his Bird of Prey. Look, Anti-Trekker had a part in Star Trek 3 as a waitress. Except that waitress was able to walk without hobbling around. Also, she's quite taller than a hobbit. Agner says Garfield is doing many things, but mainly judging Bird's audience silently. So Kirk just told McCoy about what's happening to him, and McCoy says, that green-blooded son of a bitch. It's his revenge for all those arguments he lost. Okay, this is the favorite scene of the movie. So now Sulu says they command Starfleet. So Sulu asks the guy keeping him busy, to which the guy stands up. And he's quite taller than Sulu. Says, don't get smart, Tiny. Kirk pulls the old this man's sick routine. And of course, Sulu's got the big guy a couple of fancy moves. Shoot a phaser with no phaser beam. Don't call me Tiny. Just as security comes in the other elevator. Unit 2 to Unit 1, the Kobayashi Maru has set sail for the Promised Land. McCoy says, you're taking me to the Promised Land. He seems okay now. Oh, we got Scotty on the Excelsior. The captain's going to turn in himself, looking forward to breaking Enterprise's speed records tomorrow. So the turbo lift asks Scotty where he wants to go. He goes to the transporter room. And okay, so Uhura's now here. And the guy's saying, you choose the worst duty station in town. This is the hind end of space. And Uhura says, peace and quiet appeal to her. He's like, maybe that's something good for something like you. Someone like you whose career is winding down. But he needs adventure, maybe a surprise. He says, oh, no, you know what they say, Lieutenant. You be careful what you wish for. You may get it. And with that, Kirk, McCoy, and Sulu walk in. And the guy's like, that's Admiral Kirk, my God, it's irregular. And Uhura says she's not going to do anything about it. He's going to sit in the closet. He says, what do you mean? And then she takes the phaser. Says, this is fantasy. You want adventure? How's this? Good boy. Sit in the closet. Yeah, get in the closet. Isn't it cool that closets will lock you in? So Uhura says she'll have Mr. Adventure eating out of her hands, and she'll see him at the rendezvous point. Shromor says, Bird of Prey, how much of Spock's porn files you think were lost in the transfer? I think putting that in would have been illogical. Actor says Randy Savage should be in that security guard role. Biomike says Bird once tried to steal the Enterprise, but Walmart security stopped him.
I think Poland literally stole an Enterprise toy.
Really?
Or it could have been a Star Wars toy.
One of Sister Friend's delinquent friends stole it. A large Star Trek or Star Wars toy.
Yeah. I remember it was probably Walmart. Somewhere.
Sci-Fi Nation Bird of Prey, my question is if Transwarp Drive needs to be functioning again, was a few circuits, why the F didn't they just fix it instead of abandoning it? Well, my guess is they did fix it, but even then they realized either A, it just wasn't working right, or B, they used it and they just started calling Transwarp warp. And that's why they have the new scale in the next generation. But take your pick. Yosef says Chekhov's pink dress is weird. Yellow alert, Captain Bridge. Captain, how can there be a yellow alert in space dock? He says, sir, someone is stealing the Enterprise. And he's like, my God, that counts. Now I gotta get up. All station yellow alert, and like there's like a caterer or something watching the Enterprise back out. So McCoy's a little concerned that the doors are closed. The transwarp factor graph. All speeds available through transwarp. Yosef says Bird of Prey asks us to join us and co-comment the movie. Well, I can't do that, Yosef. Sisso Prey is leaving in a few minutes. Plus, she would say no. Even if she wasn't leaving. Scotty's trying to get the doors open. Eventually they'll open. Maybe they're just holograms. Ah, there they go. Just in the nick of time. Who would have thought? I thought the movie ended here where the Enterprise got destroyed backing into doors in space dock, probably killing untold hundreds of innocents. Oh, that's a damn fine ship. That's why it will always be my Enterprise. When I think about the Enterprise, that's the first ship that comes to mind. The one from the original series is a close second, but this is what I think of. He tries to get away with warp drive. He's really in for a shock. I don't know, guy. Maybe, just maybe, before you go out on a chase, make sure your chief engineer is on board. And if he's not on board, maybe be concerned. People want to hear you co-comment on the movie.
What?
People want to hear you also comment on the movie.
How can I do that without watching it? I can comment by you commenting.
She's like, there's no way she could comment without watching it. I think they mean they want you to watch it.
That's not gonna happen.
And she said, well, that's not going to happen. She's not going to watch it. But she is leaving as well. So
That makes it sound as if something might have changed. If they send the live alpaca to the house, I'll watch one of these movies with you.
what'd you say?
What? If they send the live alpaca to the house.
No, I can't. No. Shh. Okay, good. They can't hear that. No. No, I gotta shut off the microphone.
I'll watch one.
I gotta shut off the microphone.
Love you, bye. Love you, bye.
They said goodbye. Richie Poole says goodbye. Sci-Fi Nation heard the alpaca. She's lying. She's not going to comment on the movie regardless of an alpaca. So here we found out that Scotty took the parts out of the transwarp drive. So Kirk is going to recommend them all for promotion in whatever fleet they end up serving, and best speed to Genesis. So now we're back to Savick and David, looking. Sassy, where did you get socks from? Sassy, you have 2 socks. How did you get 2 socks? And now you've taken one of the socks and you're running away with it. Oh, Sassy. Remember the alpaca mo, says Shromore. Genesis? We already had that scene, Robert Hammer. Welcome, Robert Hammer. It was great. She lost the other 2. No, she's got human socks. John DeMarco says, good work, Sassy. Aww. Now see, why couldn't baby Spock from Discovery look like this kid? Of course he's going to speak Vulcan. Why not? And David is saying, the Genesis wave. His cells could have been regenerated. They found a life sign. It's a Vulcan child, 8 to 10 years of age. He's like, how did that happen? And Dr. Marcus's opinion. The Genesis effect has somehow regenerated Captain Spock, and then random person on the bridge gives him just such a look. That's an incredible look. Even though she has no speaking lines, she was a great part of this movie. The captain says that's remarkable. What does she want to do? And she wants to beam aboard immediately. And the captain asks, "Is there any chance? Of radiation or something?" And David assures there's not. And still, this captain wants to get an answer from Starfleet. And of course, something is jamming the transmission. An energy surge. Coming from astern. Surge from astern. And there she is. There she is. Oh my God, he says. He knows he's beat. Akos dos Choco. He's saying he wants prisoners. And now his captain tells him that they're under attack. And one photon torpedo causes the entire ship to explode. And he's like, what the hell happened? And he's like, his hand slipped. And then Christopher Lloyd just shoots and disintegrates him. Like, my hand slipped. So now they go to switch to speaking in English. And he says, oh, there's life signs on the planet. Maybe the scientist you seek. And now Christopher Lloyd's happy. So Savick is sure now the Grissom was destroyed by an enemy attack. They have to go. They'll soon come after him. Where are you going to go? You're on a planet. Oh, they're 2.9 hours from Genesis. So I said scan for vessels in pursuit, and we got Spock's voice. And it says scanning indication negatives at this time. And it was McCoy doing it. And he says, oh, did I get it right? And everybody looks at him because they heard Spock's voice. Now we got Klingons looking through the jungle. Using a Klingon tricorder, I guess. Yeah, that captain was a wuss. I would have transferred off the ship. Shromore says, Trek 95, Andy Trigger played a beautiful rendition of Karogan Anthem, Karoga number 5. So, about Karoga number 5. I've decided it's not going to be Karoga number 5. It's going to be Birdo number 5. It's going to be my theme song instead of the Karoga National Anthem. Birdo number 5. And I've already got most of the lyrics now. They're not going to be about men. They're going to be about various Star Trek women. Sci-Fi Nation, don't even joke about that topic, Sci-Fi Nation. That exact topic is what got Zethon's entire channel deleted by YouTube. He just mentioned those words, and within a few seconds, a Google moderator deleted his message. In fact, Sci-Fi Nation, for your own sake, I would suggest you delete your message as soon as possible yourself. You may have already set off the Google alert box, and they come and they just delete accounts. I hope you got it in time, Sci-Fi Nation. That is the one thing they do not play about. No, not Birdo 5 men. And Richie Poo, I understand the Klingons are speaking in Klingon. I understand they haven't switched to English. I just meant that we've switched to, yeah, you're right. You got it on the technicality. That's what I should have said. I went for the simpler, that they've switched to English, meaning that now we're understanding them in English, which I'm fine with, by the way. Oh, Sassy had 2 socks, and then she had 1. Oh, she's got 1 in her mouth, and she's got 1 on the floor in front of her. Oh, Diana left her bedroom door open. So there's Sister O'Prey's socks. Shronmore says, home in Karoga, where Sassy and the alpacas play, where often is heard an SOB from bird, and he flips off Turdistan all day. Yeah, you know what, Shrillmore? I think that's going to be the Karogan anthem, and Birdo number 5 is going to be the Bird of Prey 5 theme song.
But not the way. Yeah.
No, not the way I sang it last time, or the way Anti-Tracker played it. But like I've already got some of the stanzas down. Like instead of saying Spock and Scotty, it's going to be a little bit of Jadzia in my life, a little bit of Beverly by my side, a little bit of Hoshi's all I need, a little bit of Kira's what I see, a little bit of Savick in the sun, a little bit of Lita all night long, a little bit of Hora, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. And then 2 more stanzas with even more various track ladies. So, Kirk asks McCoy how we're doing, and McCoy says we're doing fine, but he'd feel better giving Spock one of his kidneys. So they're not getting any type of reply from the Gritson. No, I didn't say Hoarder. I said Hoshi, as from Enterprise. Huh? No, not a Horda. I said Uhura. Okay, yes. There was Hoshi, and then at the end was Uhura. He said Horta. I think I heard Hoshi, then Horta. Yes, Uhura. Actress is Vertebrae, a little bit of, sounds like you're making a remake of Frankenhooker. I'm not sure what Frankenhooker is, but it's my own parody of Mambo number 5. I do have T'Pol. T'Pol is in the 3rd stanza. Or the 3rd stanza of Women, I believe. The 2nd one is the weakest. The 1st and the 3rd are the strongest. The 1st is the strongest. The 3rd is 2nd best. And I think that the middle one is the weakest. I didn't mean to add a T. See, what I did was made a whole list of women's names in Star Trek that were 2-syllable and 3-syllable. And then I replaced the 2 and 3-syllable names in Mambo number 5 with various 2 or 3-syllable names from Star Trek. And when I was all done, I was short 2 names. So I used 1 4-syllable name and 1 1-syllable name to make up for the fact I had an extra syllable. But syllable-wise, it's balanced. Total number. Yeah, well, Dr. Crusher was the 2nd one. I said it started first as Jadzia and 2nd as Beverly. A little bit of Jadzia in my life, a little bit of Beverly by my side, a little bit of Hoshi is all I need, a little bit of Kira is what I see, a little bit of Savick in the sun. Of course, I mean the first Savick, not this Savick. A little bit of Lita all night long, a little bit of Ahura, here I am. No, Pulowski's not in there. God damn it. And Janeway was almost in there, but thankfully I replaced her I found somebody. Right. I remembered Balana. So I replaced somebody else. Oh wait, Balana is 3 syllables, so that's not who I replaced her with. Let me see. So, Christopher Lloyd's come a long way with the power of Genesis. He finds a weakling human, a Vulcan boy, and a woman. And she says, "My lord." My lord, who is she talking to? Doomcock? My lord. The Genesis experiment is a failure. And he's like, a failure? The most powerful destructive force ever created. You will tell me the secret of the Genesis torpedo. And Savick says she has no knowledge. Then he will pain something she enjoys. Do we? He ordered no interruptions. But there's a Federation starship approaching, so he's going to get beamed up. Oh, right. I replaced Janeway with Tasha. I replaced Janeway with Seska. I'd forgotten. I was scraping the bottom of the barrels. I brought Seska in over Janeway. It's just the turn of luck you've been waiting for. Shromore says Bird of Prey, Birdo number 5 should be the presidential anthem like Hail to the Chief. I like it. Actor says Bird of Prey, a little bit of, sounds like... I read that one. And Tregman says Bird of Prey, Pulowski gets her own song. I don't think so. Track 95 says Vile Mike, no thank you. Janeway, no thank you. I've got 7. 7 was in there already. Vile Mike says Seska, you mean the chick that played the Queen Citadel on MK Armageddon? I mean Seska from Voyager. She was a Bajoran and it turned out she was a Cardassian. And then she went to go live with the Kazon. And she carried what she thought was Chakotay's baby. And then she took over Voyager. But it wasn't Chakotay's baby. Yes, you! Opinion, Mr. Sulu. I think it's an energy surge. Enough energy to hide a ship, a cloaking device. Red alert! Yosef, you know, I considered, because my thought was I was going to be putting a picture of the women as I say their names in the video when I do it. So I was considering saying, hey, she's 27 now, or however old she is. Because I know they're both adults. But I thought better of it, and I decided to skip Molly O'Brien and Naomi Wildman. I gotta say, though, I didn't look up what Naomi Wildman looks like right now, but damn, Molly O'Brien grew to be a beautiful, beautiful actress. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything as an adult, except she made a little bit of an appearance during the Deep Space Nine documentary. Not in the documentary, but in the Indiegogo campaign. She made a video. She was in one of the videos. But she is quite beautiful. She's also... she's an adult, but she's a young adult. She's in her early 20s. She's a little young. Emergency power. Prepare to return fire, says Kirk. Things are blowing up. They knocked out the automation center. He has no control over anything. Nothing's working. Damn it. So we're sitting ducks, says Kirk. Look at this shot. This is a beautiful shot. I'm sorry you guys can't see it in full size. He said, why haven't they finished us? They outgunned us 10-1. So he says, now the enemy commander wishes a truce to confer. And let's put him on screen. It's Admiral James T. Kirk of the Federation Starship Enterprise. So the Genesis commander himself says, your presence here is an act of war. He gives them 2 minutes to surrender, or we will destroy you. He says he's hiding something. I may have dealt him a more serious blow than I thought. Peter Quinn says, hey, Bird of Prey and all, welcome. Sci-Fi Nation says, Demora Sulu. You know, I didn't put in Demora Sulu. Vile Mike says, Kess was never attractive to me. Knowing she was 4 to 5-ish felt wrong. Well, she was never particularly attractive to me either. Even ignoring her age, even just going by the age of the actress, I did not think she was particularly attractive. But I got to the point where it was between her or Pulowski or Janeway or frickin' Luxwana. So she won by default. Like I said, I got to the... I didn't want to use... I mean, I could have used one-off characters from the original series, but I didn't want to go that far. Everybody has been used in at least one movie or multiple episodes. So... Savick is saying that there's a Vulcan there. Vulcan of your acquaintance. And David is saying he's there. Hello, sir. And he's saying, I'm sorry I'm late. It's okay. I should have known you'd come. Savick's right. It's unstable. It's going to destroy itself in a matter of hours. And Kirk says, what went wrong? And he's like, I went wrong. Yeah, why don't you just give him right answers? He says, don't surrender. Genesis doesn't work. I can't believe they'd kill us over it. This guy, he's such an idiot. Says, to show you my intentions are sincere, I'll kill you one of the prisoners. So now he lets his person down there decide who to kill. Just to show you my intentions are sincere, I'll kill one of the prisoners. And Kirk begs for a chance to talk. But this is a little cowardly. A Klingon gonna stab somebody in the back when he could have stabbed him in the front. Although, to be honest, it's completely cowardly anyway, since they have no honor. Although David, in a rare display of bravery, actually stops Savick from being killed. Honestly, if I was the Klingons, I would have killed David anyway. He seems like the biggest threat. Admiral, David is dead. Wow, what a way to break it. What a way to break it to a guy that his son is dead. And poor Kirk falls down. Klingon bastards. Klingon bastards. Klingon bastards! You killed my son! Where are the other people on the bridge? Why aren't they going over there to help him? They're just sitting on their asses. You Klingon bastards! There are 2 more prisoners, Admiral. Do you want them killed too? Surrender your vessel. Kirk says, all right, damn you. All right. Give me a minute to inform my crew. And he gives them 2 minutes for him and his gallant crew. And now this is the best scene in the movie coming up. Nurse Chapel. Yeah, Sci-Fi Nation. Nurse Chapel was in, then she was out, then she was in, and then she was out. Because I couldn't use Nurse and Chapel. Where she would have fit would have just been Chapel. And I would have felt like I would have had to explain that to too many people. The Walking Dead then stole the scene. So they know what a Klingon bird of prey is, because he asks what's the complement of a bird of prey, and Sulu says about a dozen officers and men. So Bones and Sulu to the transporter room. The rest of them with Kirk have a job to do. He says, prepare to board the ship on my next signal. And he says, no tricks, Kirk. You have 1 minute. He's like, no tricks. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Live with Mathers got Qapla, bird of prey and all. Damn it, just got the notification for the stream. Dandelion down. I swear to you, we're not finished yet. Indeed. Sci-Fi Nation bird of prey. Christine? Who's Christine? I don't know a Christine in Star Trek offhand. Do you? Is there? Do you know a Christine in Star Trek? A character, Christine? No. No little girls. No little girls. But the 2 little girls, there was Naomi Wildman on Voyager and Molly on Deep Space Nine. Shromore says Peter Quinn, unless it's a warning shot, like when Bird of Prey warning shots to Anti-Trekker in the back several times. Christine Chapel. Oh, Nurse Chapel's first name. Nurse Christine Chapel. Yeah, you see, nobody knows that. 0, 0, 0. Destruct. 0. Destruct sequence activated. Now they can make it to the transporter room in well short of a minute. I got you, Josh Street. It's Nurse Chapel's first name. So apparently many of you knew it was Nurse Chapel's first name. Oh well. Violet Mike says nobody but everyone in the chat. Yeah, well, you know how it works. Okay, so they beam off, the Klingons beam on. And there's nobody to greet them, so they start walking around. The red lights don't mean anything to them because Klingons are used to red lights. Richie Poole is calling me a Star Trek noob. Noob. Like a newbie. Then, my lord, the ship appears to be deserted. Says, how can it be? They're hiding. But the bridge seems to be run by computer. It's the only thing speaking. Speaking. Let me hear it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Get out! Get out of there! Get out! Boom! Take that, bitches! No, I tell you, this is the slowest self-destruct in history, but... And a good portion of the ship remains after the self-destruct. Luckily, it has an atmosphere to fall into and burn up. Because if it was in the middle of deep space, it would clearly have only destroyed about 30% of the ship. There would have been quite a bit left. Dare I say, enough to recover vital Federation technology. Miss Londell says everybody knows Nurse Chapel's first name, but Bird of Prey 5. Derek McManus says, just got in. What shenanigans are afoot today? Bio Mike says, I mean, how perfect of it that 6 of us separately knew and typed that in right away. Yost says, Josh Street is now revoking my nerd card. And Track 95 says, Bird is no noob thinking about his song. Dandelion Down 2 says, what do you think? What do you always do? Yes. What you always do. Turn death into a fighting chance to live. I missed that quote. I missed the scene. Josh said, when Garfield come out of the Enterprise when it was destroyed. Goodbye, beautiful ship, says Hector. Peter Quinn says, you mean a gravity well to fall into? Yes. Richie Poole says, I guess they don't breach the warp core to self-destruct back then. According to Anti-Tracker, which according to Trick Yards, that 0 at the end of 000 destruct 0, it tells it how to self-destruct. And 0 supposedly just destroys the bridge. You would think that he would have destroyed the whole ship. Also, had the blast door been closed, they all would have been safe, as we saw in Star Trek Discovery. So Kirk's phaser just became a blaster with a shot instead of a beam, and we see Spock going through instant Ponfar. And Kirk goes over to check David's body. Peter says, yeah, it doesn't matter if the planet has an atmosphere, it just has to be big enough gravity well. That's true, but the fact it has an atmosphere does mean that more of it will burn up. If there was no atmosphere, it would have just crashed. Granted, it would still be destroyed, but you actually have burn up due to friction in the atmosphere now. So, rapid aging. The mind is a boy. So Savick says, the only thing we can do is get him off the planet. His aging is part of what's going on around us. How did you know that, Savick? Once you get him off the planet, he'll be safe? That's interesting. He finds the Klingon communicator device. Klingon Commander. This is Admiral James T. Kirk. I'm alive and well in the year 1955. I'm alive and well on the planet's surface. Sorry about your crew, but as we say on Earth, c'est la vie. I have what you want. I have the secret of Genesis. You're going to have to bring us up there to get it. You hear me? I'm waiting for you. What is your answer? He could have just fired a photon torpedo from orbit. But and then he beams down holding a phaser. And he's got one weapon. He says, drop all weapons. And of course, they all do. Everybody move over except Kirk. Kirk says you should take the Vulcan too, and the Klingon says no. And he says, why? Because you wish it. Jolly choo! So now we know how to say beam us up in Klingon. That'll come in handy later. Genesis, he wants it. Kirk says, beam the Vulcan up, and we'll talk. And Kurge says, beam it, talk to me, and I'll consider it. Kirk says, if we don't help each other, we'll die here. Says, perfect, and that's the way it shall be. A useful rock just went up, giving Kurge the ability to jump on top of Kirk. He's lifting Kirk up by the neck. Give me Genesis! And Kirk is doing some punches to the neck, and a punch in the face, and a kick. The Klingon takes the kick, and Kirk does a backflip over it. He does some... He's like, I learned this in Arena, fighting a Gorn. Oh, took a shot. And now Kirk jumps on top of the Klingon. There's lightning, there's fire, there's magma. Oh my, earthquakes. How do you align your shot before beaming down? Badass. So now Kirk wants to help him. He says, give me your hand. And he reaches for the leg of Kirk. And Kirk is in the right position to just kick him in the face. I have had enough of you. Oh no, terrible CGI. Terrible CGI, but okay, whatever. He's dead. He's dead. Now Kirk has no way to get up unless he finds the communications device, which hopefully wasn't on the guy he just killed. The sun is rising. Is that supposed to mean something? I don't know. That looks like Kirk's double. Are you saying William Shatner couldn't pull off that overhead backflip kick? Earthquakes, fire, mountains of garbage. Sounds like Turdistan. It does, and Mountains of Elysium did a great second video on if you plan to visit Turdistan. Some stuff you need to be wary of. Mok Cho Ichu, and Kirk gets beamed up because they think that that's Christopher Lloyd saying it. And wouldn't you know it, even though they were taken to the bird of prey as prisoners, they're one phaser away. Where did Savick even get that from? Help us or die. He says, I do not deserve to live, and Kirk says, I'll kill you later. Kirk says, let's get out of here. Where's the damn antimatter inducer? And Chekhov says, this. And Scotty says, that, or nothing. And they press it, and boom! Well, not instant. Says, we have full power. So, Kirk's like, go! Of course, just as the planet is about to blow up. Kirk says, goodbye, David. Says, where Sulu says they're clear and free to navigate. Kirk says, best speed to Vulcan. And Chekhov to bring the prisoner below. And Klingon says, wait, you said you'd kill me. And Kirk said, I lied. That was the best. That was the best part of the movie. So McCoy is trying to get Spock to talk to him. But Spock seems to be sleeping. McCoy's like, remember, tell me what to do with it. Help me. Of course, Spock now looks his normal age. He should be looking. I guess he got off the planet just in time. Shrowmore says, bird of prey, a gentleman doesn't ask where she hid it. Peter Quinn says, well, the saucer section was about 70% destroyed. Yeah, but only the saucer section. The rest of the ship was barely touched. Mr. Lundell's Groovy Movie says, the best part of this movie is yet to come. Look at that fine ship. Look at that fine ship as it heads to Vulcan. Sarek. And Uhura is there. I forgot Uhura was in this movie. Sarek says, tell Kirk we'll be ready. And that's some fine flying there, Sulu. Flying that bird of prey through the mountains of Vulcan. Take note, people. There's no trees. There's no forests. And there's no rain. Okay, landing configuration. We got the bird of prey in all three configurations in this movie. Look at that. Look at that. They even set up the landing lights just for a Klingon bird of prey. They thought ahead. Those Vulcans, they're always thinking ahead. And they're making McCoy carry the Spock's body, even though McCoy was sick at the beginning. Kirk gives Uhura a hug. Sarek is waiting above. He could have come down and helped carry his own goddamn son. He does have twice human strength. Wouldn't have even broken a sweat. Meta Quinn says, wasn't engineering in the saucer? Was it? I thought, if it was in the saucer, I could have sworn it was at the back of the saucer, the section that didn't get destroyed. It certainly wasn't in the middle or the front of the saucer. The only where it would have been in the saucer would have been the back. The part that stayed attached to the rest of the ship, to the secondary hull. And the warp nacelles. I thought engineering was down in the secondary hull. Yeah, no, engineering is definitely down in the secondary hull. That's where it got phasered in Star Trek II, and that's where they took all the damage, was right in the engineering section. Child is gone. Child of Sokar! Body of your son, breathe still. How convenient. What is your wish? I ask for foul Pak, the refusion. Says, what you seek has not been done since ages past, and then only in legend. Your request is not logical. Forgive me, Tanar. My logic is uncertain where my son is concerned. Who is the keeper of the Qapla? I am McCoy, Leonard H., son of David. Since thou art human, we cannot expect thee to understand fully what Sarek has requested. Spock's body lives. With your approval, we will use all our powers to return to his body that which you possess. But be warned, the danger to thyself is as grave as danger to Spock. I choose the danger. I choose the danger. Hell of a time to ask. Boring? What? Yosef, are you saying this is boring? I'm sorry, Yosef. We need to bring Tilly in. Then it'd be less boring. Yeah, Vulcan space magic. Vin Val Nahum. I don't know what this Vulcan monk just beats a drum or bangs a gong. You're thinking you can look up my nose. And lightning. The lightning happens. Even though there was no rain, lightning happens as she does the mind melt. Or mind whatever it is she's doing. Everybody just waits around, Savick, with her eyes closed because she's doing something to help mentally, perhaps. I'm still watching, guys. I just got to mute the mic for a minute. I'm back. That was Doc Brown back from the future. So we got McCoy back. He says he's alright. Sarek, Kirk asks, what about Spock? And Sarah says, only time. Only time will answer. I thank you, Kirk. Kirk says, what I've done, I've had to do. But at what cost? The ship. Your son. Yeah, when you put it like that. Maybe I regret it a bit. But let's face it, I like Spock a lot better than the son I didn't even know I had until one movie ago. Plus, he was kind of a jerk. Spock gets walked past him. And Spock takes a minute, turns around, takes off his hood, looks, walks, moseys on over. Looks at Savick. He's like, thanks for the Ponfar relief. Looks at the rest of the crew. Gets to McCoy. And then comes to Kirk. My father says you have been my friend. You came back for me. Kirk says you would have done the same for me. He says, why would you do this? Kirk says, because the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many. Which is nonsense. Oh, there's reasons to go back, but that's not a reason. That's not a reason, that's a consequence. Spock says, I have been and always shall be your friend. He remembers. And Spock says, the ship out of danger. Well, not really. And Kirk says, you saved the ship, you saved us all. Don't you remember? By the way, I destroyed the ship. Spock comes to him. He looks. He says, Jim. Your name is Jim. And says, yes. And cue the music. The feel-good Star Trek music. And McCoy points to his head. Then everybody comes over and touches Spock. And they're all smiling. Because now Spock is cured. And Spock does the eyebrow raise, which of course we all know now number one toward him to do. Richie Pools is Bird of Prey. You should take a cue from Vile Mike and Vile Child and starts doing Star Trek reviews with Sister O'Prey. Richie Poole. Richie Poole, I don't think you get the difference. Okay, Vile Child is willing to do Star Trek reviews with Vile Mike. Sister O'Prey would not, under any circumstances I can imagine, sit down and watch a Star Trek movie. Unless I was paying her like $100 an hour. I can't imagine she would sit down and watch a Star Trek movie. And even if she did, her comments would be like, this sucks. This is boring. he's stupid, you're stupid, this is stupid, blah, 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 and that makes no sense. I
might review a non-sci-fi movie.
Oh, maybe like a non-sci-fi movie. Like, you might get her to talk about, like, Anchorman or Zoolander. Something like that. But, I don't think, those aren't really worthy of critical reviewing. Actor says an entire JJ resurrected Kirk after only 3 scenes into darkness. Dragon says, Bird of Prey, wash your mouth out with soap. What did I say? Like Bird of Prey, maybe do Star Trek reviews with Sassy instead of Sisso Prey. Yeah, well, at least Sassy would probably do it. Peter Quinn says, she's less evolved. She's less evolved than his Bird of Prey. I wouldn't say less evolved. She just not into Star Trek. John reads his Bird of Prey torture Sister of Prey with Star Trek Discovery. Why? Why would I do that? No, we don't want to torture Sister of Prey. Plus, there's the risk she might like it. She might say, oh, I was wrong about Star Trek. And I'd be like, no, you idiot. This is the stuff you're supposed to hate. And once I tell her you're supposed to hate it, then she's like, oh, I like it. Just to annoy me. Track 95 says you mentioned Mikey Spock teaching Spork. Actors of Sisso Prey can kill Bird anytime if you start pressuring her. That's true. And Track 95 says Sisso Prey has enough torture. Peter Quinn is going to log off for today, getting tired. Take care, Peter Quinn. Have a good night. And yeah, so I gotta say, this happens every time I watch Star Trek 3. I realize it's better than I remember it. Okay? It is better than I remember it. There's so many scenes I realize are classic scenes that I forget they're in this movie. That said, maybe it will change after I watch Star Trek 5. But even though I've improved the score of Star Trek 3, like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just, to me, not as good as 2, 4, 6, or even 5. Okay? I would put 5 slightly above 3, and then 2, 4, and 6 way above 3 and 5. And 1 at the bottom. Although even the bottom isn't terrible, it's just the least of the original series movies. Peter says, see you later, Bird of Prey and all. Take care. John DeMar says, I think this is the best of the odd-numbered movies. Well, I think it's second best. But I hear ya. Richie Poole says, yes, and Bird admitting it's good. I never said it wasn't good. I just said I like the others better. Richie Poole says, when you watch 5 again, you will realize how much it really sucks. Dandelion Down 2 loves number 3. Listen, I can totally see how anyone could love any of the first 6 movies above the others. Okay? I can't say that there's objectively a best one. And we just got the end. Okay? I can't say that there's objectively a best one of all the Treks. However, for me, the order is 4, 6, 2. 462-531. But even with one, maybe one being a 5, and then, 2, 4, and 6, somewhere between 9 and 10 on any given day. Yosef says, let's do Star Trek 4 now. I'm sorry, Yosef. I can't. Wesley says, Bird Prey ready for Space Engineers yet? Actually, Wesley, yes. Space Engineers is up and running, and Turtistan needs players. So, Wesley, if you're going to join Turtistan, that would be awesome, because Epic decided to come to Kuroga, which is awesome, but it left Anti-Trekker and Chris M. Alone. Now, Thomas, I imagine, will go to Turtistan at some point. I don't know if he's signed in yet. Well, Wesley said he's going to go to Turtistan too. So that would give us an even 4-on-4 if that happens. So yeah, you can do Space Engineers. I put up a video on Bird of Prey 5X channel with the rules, but I linked the video on the antitrekker.com forum in the Space Engineers section. It says round 4 rules. You can read the rules and watch the video, please, before starting the level. And it's all in there. Turtistan needed players, yes. And Actor saying ha. Wesley says, yeah, I will go to Turtistan, make the teams fair. Thank you, Wes. Richie Poole says 2, 2, 4, 3, 1, 6, then 5. I reluctantly included 5. And Wesley says he'll watch the video. Very cool. Well, next week is 4. 4 is definitely one of, if not my absolute favorite. Yeah, it's more fun than the rest, and I really enjoy it. Plus, it's Tar is a bird of prey. So can't wait till next week. That's going to be a fun one. And then, to be honest, I think 5 is going to be a fun one too, because it's 5. And 6 is going to be a fun one because it's 6. So I say we got 3 great ones coming up. We got 3 greats coming up. Yeah, did a little too much LDS. Indeed. Agnes says, is it Turtistan or Turtistain, Wesley? And Richie Poole says it's Turtistain. So guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed rewatching Star Trek 3. I think some of us, I know I often don't watch these movies as often as I could, as often as I want to, because there's clearly still scenes I forget about and scenes I forget where they were, or I have them just a little off, so I should be rewatching them all every day. But I hope with this you got to see a movie you haven't seen in a while and enjoyed it. Guys, remember to please go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, but share this. That's the biggest thing you could do, is share the link to this, because it will be unlisted later today. Now it will still be available. I've got to add the playlist to my YouTube channel, but there's a playlist that's called Live Unlisted that has all my past live and unlisted streams. Now, a video like this can also be found in the Star Trek playlist, and it can also be found in the Reviews and Rants playlist. So it will be available via playlist. It will be available by direct link. If you have an email, or you get the link in antitrekker.com in the Bird of Prey 5 forum, or my Twitter, or my Discord, or anywhere else you can get the link, that's where you can get it. But it won't be listed, which means that YouTube isn't going to show it on the front of my channel, and it's not going to promote it to anybody because the algorithm. And I'm happy to say that since I've been unlisting the videos, it has helped with the numbers a bit. So we're up to 15 1.51K, which isn't bad. Hopefully we keep going up once I release some more videos, produced videos, rather than live streams. So yeah, please share it. That's the best thing you could do for the video and for the channel. And have a good day all. Qapla. And thank you. Sci-Fi Nation says bye. Bird of Prey, Mao Prey, Sassy, and fellow nerds. Goodbye. Goodbye. Actor says, Bird of Prey, what sign is Sisso Prey? Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, Sagittarius, like Mamo Prey. Like Mamo Prey. Yes, Sisso Prey's birthday is the first week of December, and Mamo Prey's birthday is the middle of December. So, take care, all. See you later. Well, actually, probably not today. I guess tomorrow morning, Anti-Tracker stream, assuming he does one. And I'll be in Space Engineers, too, obviously. Qapla. Live long and prosper. Okay. To comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. Check out BirdoPrey5.com, the new home of everything BirdoPrey5 on the web. You can also check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you'd like to make a donation, check out paypal.me/BirdoPrey5 or on BirdoPrey5.com. Take care.